Hey guys, this is Ollie here from I Will Teach You a Language. This is my Cantonese 3-month update video. But as you'll see, I'm not speaking Cantonese, I'm speaking English. And there's a reason for this. I've had a pretty tough month, but I've learned some lessons, and I want to share these lessons with you today. Now, for those of you that have been following my approach to this project, you'll know that I've had a pretty well-defined study process for Cantonese. It's not necessarily big, I'm not spending hours every day, but I did have a fairly rigorous process that I was sticking to. SRS flashcards in the morning and in the evening, listening to podcasts in the car, and at least 1 hour of focused study when I get home. Now what happened to me, at the 2-month point, more or less, I burnt out. I would get home and I'd be, I don't want to do this. I'd lost the drive. And what I did, because I was getting a lot of interference from life and work, I was getting busy at the time, I didn't feel like I had the energy to find other methods of studying. I was drained. And so what ended up happening was I switched and I spent all of my time, instead of studying, watching dramas in Cantonese and Cantonese dramas and movies. And I did this for about 3 weeks until quite recently. Now, at the time, I felt like I was giving up. I felt pretty negative about it. I'd stopped studying. I felt like I was just copping out. But I've since realised that wasn't the case, and I'm going to talk about why. During this 3-week video binge, a number of things happened. The first thing was that a lot of the vocabulary that I've been learning started to pop out at me from the dramas. Not everything, but quite a lot of things. I also found that after a couple of weeks, I was starting to understand a lot more of what people were saying. I got used to the sounds of the language. I got used to some of the features of discourse, the way people talk to each other. And the other thing that happened was, for some reason, the things that I'd been studying in these intensive 2 months before started to be available to me in my head. I felt like I'd learned them. So even though I hadn't gone near the books for 3 weeks, something very interesting happened. I felt like my level of progress, my rate of progress, was actually increasing. And this is a big deal. And I think there are lessons in this that a lot of us can draw. That a lot of us can draw on when we're examining our progress. Many people write to me and they say things like, I have trouble keeping track of my progress. I don't know when I'm progressing. My experience in the last few weeks suggests very strongly that, something that all of us really already know, that progress does not move in a straight line. Progress is all over the place. It goes up and it goes down, and we can't control when that happens. As much as it would be great if we could, we can't. So here are the 4 things that I've learned from this experience that I'm going to take away into the rest of my challenge and also into the future. And here they are. Number 1. It's so important that we enjoy the process. Most of us are going to be taking a year or 2 at the very least to learn a language properly, and it's absolutely essential that we're not just doing it for the sake of it because we feel like we have to learn this language. It's essential that we find something we can enjoy in the process. Let's face it, studying with books isn't the best fun in the world. We need to find something that we can enjoy in the process. Now for me in Cantonese, it's movies and dramas. I love it. I have great fun when I'm watching it, and I can't wait to catch up on the latest episode or whatever in the evenings. It's fun for me and I really enjoy it. You have to think carefully about what it is for you. It can be books, it can be music. Music and songs are a great resource even for beginners. It can be TV, it can be speaking. It can be speaking with a friend, a language partner, or your partner. So, really, it's a good idea to really examine this and think about what you can find yourself enjoying in the language, and have that ready for those times where you don't want to study and you want to just take a step off the train for a bit. Now the second thing is variety. However good the book is that you're using, or the self-study material that you've got, eventually you're going to get, well, if you're anything like me, you're going to get bored and you're going to want a bit of variety. So we need to mix things up a little bit. I've been using this great internet resource for Cantonese, but I got tired of it eventually. I started finding problems in the dialogues and in their approach. So I mixed it up and I started using a different book, and it's really been a motivating thing, that, because it's allowed me to look at the language from a different perspective. Number 3, time. It's so important. I found after my 2 months of intensive study, the 3 weeks off that I took, the 3 weeks I took away from that studying, during that time, all the things that I'd been studying before slowly started to consolidate inside my head, and I'm convinced it was the time off that did it. So we've got to not only, first of all, expect it to take time and not beat ourselves up when we don't make massive progress every week. And number 2, actually sometimes actively take time off, take rests, take breaks, a week at a time, 2 weeks, so that the stuff that we've been studying can consolidate in our head. Okay. The 4th thing is that the reality is, for me, and probably many people out there as well, that I'm still in this early stage of learning the language in which there is only one important thing, and that is building up a vocabulary core. We can't speak, we can't understand until we know enough words. And so at the beginning, early stages of learning a language, we're building up this vocabulary core, and there's no getting away from the fact that that takes time, and it's really frustrating. When you want to speak, you don't have the word available. When you want to understand something and you just don't understand the word that you get told. So it's related to the time issue, in that we can't let ourselves get too frustrated in the first 6 months or so, because we have to realize that we're still building up this vocabulary slowly. And as long as we realize that that's what's happening, we don't have to get frustrated. We don't have to expect this linear progress all the time. We can focus on building up that vocabulary, but also enjoying the process as well. So just to recap these 4 things. Number 1, enjoy the process. Find something you can enjoy with the language. Number 2, variety. Don't rely on one resource. Mix it up. Do different things. Number 3, take time off, because stuff won't consolidate and sink in until you let your brain rest and take some time off. And then number 4, recognize the fact that if you're in these early stages of language learning, it's going to take time to build up your vocabulary core. Recognize this and don't let yourself get frustrated. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you found it useful. I'm going to be back in a month's time in Cantonese for sure, without a doubt, for my month 4 update video. Until then, good luck and see you on the site.